It's the end of the day with Ray. Hello, my friends. Hey, in that intersection between the digital and physical world, today I have David Pittinger and Greg Kaplan, and they're the owners of a company called Cobil Connect. And you know Greg, he's been on the end of the day with Ray a couple of different times. But Greg and Dave, they're trying to help resellers, whether those are IT resellers or whether those are print resellers, office products resellers, any resellers that are working in the SMB to SMB space that really want to help their end users buy and use solutions based on market realities and based on desired outcomes. How's it going, gentlemen? How are y'all doing, man?
Hey, good morning, Ray. Thanks for having us today.
Well, Greg, it's great having you. You've been on before. Dave, this is your first time on the end of the day with Ray. How's it going, man?
It's going great today, and thanks for having me on.
Well, you know, I just see so much lunacy. I'm a little upset, first of all, because we've had, 3 months almost, 90 days, where the dealers and the resellers could have been really training on some in-depth solutions, could have been trying to move the needle a little bit further. But it seems as I talk to the salespeople out there from the imaging channel and even the IT services channel, a lot of the training's been the same old thing they've always been doing. So we all know that solutions basically was a disaster in the marketplace. Nobody really hit it out of the park with home runs. And we had this opportunity to really understand solutions, and I don't think a lot of them have taken advantage of that. I know a few of them have reached out to you and Dave. Tell us a little bit about that, and where are we at right now in the mindset of the resellers, do you think?
So, Ray, we've had some calls in the past where we've suggested that dealers or dealer salespeople reach back out to their internal operations admin and understand their systems and how information goes. I know a couple of people have done that, but by and large, what we're seeing is that salespeople are being trained on the products they were selling last year. As you said, nobody's really knocking the cover off the ball. And are those products even going to be relevant going forward in a more work-from-home distributed work environment? And I don't think so. Instead, we should be having some calls with customers and C-level people and being part of those strategic calls. And you and I shared some of those findings. And you even had a very insightful comment that right now, whether it's on Zoom or in a board meeting, C-level folks are doing a lot of planning. And in those planning meetings, there's probably not any representation from purchasing. So really, it's an opportunity to pivot toward having a more strategic discussion with customers.
I got to be honest with you, Dave, maybe you can answer this question, but it seems to me when you look inside the imaging channel, this place I've called home for 30 years, but when you look inside those organizations, and even from a manufacturer's perspective, we're making solutions about the damn products. We're still not making solutions about the desired outcome the product gives the end user. For instance, I saw an advertisement the other day from a manufacturer, we're the heartbeat of the digital office. I don't even know what that means. How does an MFP become the heartbeat of a digital office? But the point of that is, where are we going wrong, Dave? How can we train the manufacturer so at least we can get some consistency across the board here? What should these resellers be doing?
Well, I think one of the key things they should be doing is looking at their overall information flow and not assuming that all the information that they have and the important information is either going to be printed or that it's going to be recaptured at the device. With the new work at home type environment we're working in, what we've got people who are learning to go without that because they're not in an office, they're not with that equipment that they've typically used, so they've had to find other ways in order to be able to communicate that information. And what's the path of that information and where's that going? And once they understand that, then they're going to have some idea how work's going to be done in the future and what the right questions to ask are after they do the inquiry on how they've changed their business based on the current environment.
Well, it seems to me if you look at the industry, especially from a manufacturer's perspective around print, it seems like it's just they can't comprehend maybe that print is actually in decline. They can't comprehend that we're moving from A3 to A4, and they keep trying to build a relationship up with a device instead of trying to build a relationship up with the customer and their desired outcome. Here's a great example. So I don't even know if this is even a logical app, but I saw the other day where you could, they're doing a commercial. The lady actually has a document in her hand. She walks up to a copy machine. She sticks it in the document feeder and scans it so that when she gets back out in her car it will, tell her what the document is. It'll read it for her. She doesn't have to take the time to read it. And I'm sitting there looking at this thinking to myself, holy crap, the time that she walked over to the copier, stuck in there, she could have read it. It was about 100 words. Is this a real application? Is this going to really make people want to buy an MFP strictly for that? I mean, I'm lost. Help me out, guys.
I think it's a great idea because it showcases something. It showcases a couple, basically some points of technology. But is that an effective use in that workflow? And are a bunch of people going to use it? And is it worth, is there a good return on investment for that company? And I'm inclined to say no, it's not.
Yeah. Well, bingo. I think, I remember in the early days of selling machines, Greg, you've been around as long as I have. But, when we were selling machines that reduced in at large and they went up to like 400%, we'd go in there and say you could blow something up 400% of the time, put a penny on the glass and put it on 11 by 17 paper. Well, of course, there was no application for that. So I think what we've done is we create these devices to two things. We want to build a relationship up with the people that sell them. They get all excited about these apps. They get all excited because they could demo some cool stuff. But it goes down to what Dave said, the practicality of the use in the field is 0 to none. And can we not really just start for the very first time in the industry focusing on real solutions that can bring real value to end users? So I'm going to ask both of you, give us, obviously we're all starting to break loose now. The quarantines are kind of ending. But when we get back out in the marketplace, isn't it really just about damn conversations? Should we just forget about all the solutions and go have conversations? And from the conversations, solutions will be born. Help me help our dealer friends understand that, you guys. And then what do they need to do, or can they engage with you to help them in that process?
So Ray, that's a great point, right? Because the channel historically, the imaging channel, sells products, whether it's hardware or software. So they're just asking questions to place a product rather than understanding the flow, as we talk about, of information, right? Documents do not equal information. 20 years ago, they were pretty synonymous. Today, it's not. Information resides in systems and applications. I think the challenge that the imaging channel in particular has is that when you're focused on products, it's a pretty similar talk track regardless of who the customer is. But then if we're going in and having a customer-centric talk track, then the conversation could be all over the place. So you have to be confident in your understanding of some of the underlying technology and tools and workflows and processes of different types of organizations. And that's really where we come in. Dave and I have been doing this, working in the imaging channel for about 20 years, helping dealers and OEMs not sell products, even though we work for product companies, but really trying to integrate those products and improve processes, as you said, to get to a desired customer outcome.
Interesting. So, yeah, you don't care who the channel they come from. I know your background is in the imaging channel, but obviously we're seeing the convergence. IT resellers. I talked to Paul yesterday. He can't wait to go out there and replace these oversold A3s with A4s and use the money for some IT stuff. So, will you work in that arena too? I mean, can you help a truly IT services company understand maybe how to go after some of the solutions that are print-based or that were print-based?
Yeah, you definitely can. And I think there's a good example of that more in the history of the imaging world and how it converges with the IT world, where people started selling fillable PDF technology, and the IT organizations took that and built that directly into the applications that they were presenting to users. So they took that technology and basically it didn't end up in the imaging world. I mean, it's still there, but it's embedded in IT systems now. So we're going to see, and at a faster rate, we're going to see a lot more of that image capture or information capture move directly into the system where it belongs. And the only way that any of the technology resellers are going to be able to compete there is to go in and ask all the questions, like you said, about go in, ask all the questions about, what information are you capturing? Where does it go? Where does it live? And then who has to have access to it? And that's the kind of thing that's going to give you insight into whether or not you're going to have the ability to help them capture that, or if that's going to fall into a more traditionally IT realm as far as where that project's going to be done.
Well, it's very interesting what you just said, because, I really haven't thought about it that we've all been talking about how the, SMB space is going to advance like never before in their digitalization processes. And the fact of the matter is, so are the people that provide products and services to them. And so if I'm a software manufacturer that maybe was reliant on a print metrics business model to help sell those solutions, am I going to start moving that more and more into the IT realm, or talking to actually the other software providers that maybe I can piggyback on some of those other softwares? That could be very interesting and a different competitive environment. So those are all interesting things to think about. Well, the good news is that our friends have some resources with Dave, with you and Greg, and you can help them through some of these processes. But right now, I think the biggest thing dealers need to do is they need to put all their brochures and all their crazy thoughts and put them in a big bag and leave them in the office, leave them in their house. And when they go out into the marketplace, they need to have conversations with customers and truly discover what are those customers' desired outcomes. And you guys are willing to help, right?
Absolutely right.
All right. Well, hey, I'll tag your website on the video today, and let's recreate the new normal. That's what I keep saying, folks. We got to create the new normal. We're not going to walk into someone else's normal that they created for us. If we do that, we're probably going to lose. I appreciate your time, guys, and I'm going to end this the way I always do. Status quo is the killer of all that will be invented. Don't get stuck in status quo, and have a fantastic day, my friends.